This is Adam Miller, your movies correspondent and associate producer for the RPM Show, here to bring the official word on this year's big pre-summer treat, Scream 4. Now, a few things about the plot first before I get into my review of the movie. Scream 4 picks up 10 years after the events of Scream 3. Now, in that time, a lot has changed in the quaint little town of Woodsboro. First to note, Dewey Riley and Gale Weathers, played by David Arquette and Courtney Cox, are now married. And Dewey is now the sheriff of Woodsboro, and Gale has now retired from being a reporter and is now a writer. Also, Sidney Prescott is back in town. She is promoting a new book that details her experiences from the events of the previous movies and of course explains her absence over the last 10 years. Now, what ends up happening? You guessed it. Another killer puts on the ghost face costume and starts terrorizing everybody. In so doing, this person is recreating the events of the first Scream movie. In essence, he is reinventing the killings of the first movie. And basically, he's doing it by lacing it with today's technologies that every teenager has used to, smartphones, and of course the social networking capabilities that everybody has nowadays. And the targets, of course, are Sidney herself, and of course everybody. That includes her niece, played by Emma Roberts, and of course her niece is all her friends. Everybody is involved. So everybody's a target. Now, Scream 4. What I said before is Scream 4 being this year's big pre-summer treat. It could not be more appropriate. Scream 4 is probably the biggest treat I've seen so far this year. It's wild. It's entertaining. A lot of kudos goes to Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson, the writer, for really keeping in touch with the fact that even though they do use a lot of the typical horror film cliches that we see and that we, of course, saw in the previous movies, and, of course, every other horror movie, like, all the slasher movies in particular, but yet they make it fun, and they make it worthwhile. They make it, even though it's laughable and predictable, they make it fun and entertaining. And, of course, returning cast members, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, they return here in great form, and, of course, they're the usual self. And, of course, they're headed by a all-out supporting cast that includes, as I said, Emma Roberts, but also Hayden Panettiere, Rory Culkin, Adam Brody, Anthony Anderson, and of course a special cameo by Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin. So, as getting back to the movie itself, Scream 4, I had to say, was a little bit better than Scream 3. Now, Scream 3, I had to say, was a little weak on a few things. It didn't exactly live up to the previous two, which I thought were excellent. Scream being the exception, mostly because it was revolutionary, because it basically took the quote-unquote rules that were made by, horror movies and slasher movies and reinvented them and retold them for a new generation. And, of course, made a lot of in-joke references to a lot of the pop culture stuff that was established by those movies in that era. And so doing... Scream is always going to be the best, in my opinion. It's, it's revolutionary, so it's always going to be that best. It started, a huge new subgenre of horror films. Now, Scream 2 was an awesome sequel. It did what sequels should do. They outdo the first one, and of course they really live up to the first one and do it justice. Now, Scream 3 was good, but it wasn't as good as the previous two. However, Scream 4, was way better than Scream 3. It brought back the franchise, or reinvented a lot of stuff. It was wild. It was entertaining. There was a lot of blood, the typical horror stuff, a lot of bloodshed, a lot of thrills, a lot of laughs, a lot of very funny pop culture references, of course, and of course, an ending that is a killer. It's one of the things that I love about these movies. They really keep you guessing as to trying to figure out who the killer is, and they always, pinpoint to a few people that you think may be the killer behind the mask, but in the end, it always turns out to be the last person that you would ever suspect. And in this case, it is... Wait a minute. I'm not going to tell you. Go see the movie and find out for yourself. But I will tell you, it's a killer. So, and it's a real surprise. It's one of those OMG moments. Like, what? Actually, not OMG, but WTF moments. What the is happening? So... all in all, Scream 4, I give it a total 10 out of 10. It was awesome. It was fun. It was entertaining at its best. A real treat for this year to bring. Now, I want to know what you think about Scream 4. Am I on the A ball or am I not? Was it good or was it not? And what is your basis on that fact? So, email me, adam@therpmshow.com. Also, go to our website, therpmshow.com. Link with us on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Hub Pages, Blueberry, YouTube, and of course, download our shows on iTunes. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel and friend us as well, where you can get instant access to all of our other videos. And of course, friend us on Facebook. You can also friend me and my two co-hosts, Ryan and Mike, respectively. So that's that. So go see Scream 4 this weekend. You will not be disappointed. It's wild. It's fun. 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5 stars. So until then, until my next review or another news story, stay tuned and keep at it.